The ocean is silent. A single light moves across the black Pacific floor, 3 miles down. It is 1974, in the middle of the Cold War. Far from any coast, an American ship drifts above a secret grave. 5 seconds in, the hook begins. In a calm male voice colon, they built a ship to steal a Soviet nuclear submarine from the bottom of the sea. They called it Project Azorian. The Soviets never saw it coming. The light fades into blue mist. Metal creaks. Distant sonar pings echo through the dark. Inside a dim CIA room, engineers study grainy images of a broken hull. Maps spread across the table. Red circles drawn over endless ocean. Someone whispers, almost to himself, this is the deepest theft in human history. Camera pans slowly across classified folders stamped top secret. The sound of a projector hums. A voice continues, lower, steady. Some secrets are too heavy to stay buried. Fade to black. The drone hum deepens, leading into the next phase of the story. In the summer of 1973, a shipyard in California came alive. Thousands of men worked day and night under the burning sun, welding, shaping, dreaming.
Before the end of the day.
They believed they were building something historic, something that would change how the world looked at the ocean. Howard Hughes was the name on every document, the face on every headline. The eccentric billionaire, the American genius who could turn imagination into steel. To the public, it was a mining vessel, designed to reach the deepest floor of the Pacific and lift rich minerals from the earth, a symbol of progress, ambition, and the American dream. But behind the noise of hammers and the hum of machines, a different story was unfolding. In quiet offices, CIA officials watched every move. Blueprints were stamped with numbers instead of names. Orders arrived without explanation. Even the welders who built the massive steel claw did not know what it was for.
You're kidding.
One engineer later said, "We were building a lie wrapped in metal." Yet there was pride in the air, a feeling that this was more than work. It was destiny. Men shook hands at dawn, their faces lit by sparks and belief. They laughed over coffee, spoke about their kids, and went back to the noise. No one asked questions. No one dared to. On the deck, the American flag waved gently against the sea wind. The camera lingers on it, proud and unaware in that moment. Everything still felt right. Fade out with slow guitar and soft ocean breeze. The storm is not here yet, but it is coming. The ocean stretched endlessly, quiet and calm, like nothing could go wrong. But inside the control room, something changed. A faint signal blinked on the radar screen, steady and strange. The room fell silent. That is no rock formation. One technician whispered. 3 miles below them lay the wreck of a Soviet submarine, K-1029. 75 men had gone down with it, and 3 nuclear warheads still slept inside. For the CIA, it was an opportunity. For the crew, it began to feel like something else. An older engineer stared at the sonar display, his face pale under the green glow. He had built ships his whole life, but never for this. "We are not rescuing anyone," he said quietly. "We are robbing the dead." A younger man looked up, unsure whether to answer. Outside, the sea was still. Waves moved like slow breathing. Every sound, the hum of the engines, the click of a switch, suddenly felt too loud. In a small briefing room, an officer spoke without emotion. "The Soviets must not find out. If they do, it is not a scandal. It is war." The men nodded, but no one met each other's eyes. One reached into his pocket, feeling the photo of his family folded inside. Another crossed himself in silence. The camera drifts through the corridors, past glowing panels and faces half lit by red light. The air feels heavy, the kind of silence that only exists before something breaks. A distant sonar ping echoes through the hall, long and hollow. The sound fades, but the unease does not. Somewhere deep below, the sea is waiting. July 1974. After months of silence and planning, the Hughes Glomar Explorer reached the coordinates. The Pacific stretched endless and blue, hiding a Soviet tomb below. To the world. It was a mining test to the men on board. It was the most dangerous operation of their lives. Engines roared as the giant steel claw began its descent. 6,000 tons of machinery moving down through black water, inch by inch. Every cable, every bolt, carried the weight of a secret the world could never know. Inside the control room, sweat rolled down faces as voices cracked through the radio. Lower the claw. Keep tension steady. Do not lose signal. For 8 days, they worked without rest. Men slept on the floor beside the machines. Coffee cups, cold cigarettes, eyes red from watching monitors glow. No music, no laughter, only the pulse of metal and men. One officer whispered, "We are holding the ocean by a thread." Then, in the middle of the night, the noise changed. A deep metallic groan rolled through the ship. The deck trembled. Something was wrong. On the monitor, a line flickered, then vanished. "We are losing it," someone shouted. The claw slipped, twisting under impossible pressure. Meters of cable snapped like gunfire. The ship lurched. Tools crashed to the floor. "Hold the line," the captain ordered, but the sound of tearing steel drowned his voice. The giant arm broke apart, pieces vanishing into darkness. A low boom echoed from below, followed by silence so heavy it felt alive. For 10 long seconds, no one moved. The sea was calm again, too calm. The men stared at the empty screens, their reflections pale in the glass. No one spoke. No one had to. Then, slowly, the machinery steadied. Half of the submarine was still locked in the claw. The other half, with dozens of men still entombed, was gone forever. An engineer pressed his hand against the steel wall, whispering something no one heard. Another wiped oil from his face and looked out across the black horizon. The mission continued,
It's all my fault.
but something inside them had changed. Above the ship, the American flag still waved, soaked with salt and rain, but unbroken. They had done what no one else could. And yet every man on that deck knew the same truth. They had won, but not without losing something they could never name. The camera pulls back, rising through fog and engine smoke. The ship drifts alone in the vast Pacific, a steel island of silence. Below, the sea closes again, sealing its secrets. The storm has passed, but the story is far from over. Fade out. A soft hum of wind carries into the next act, the silence after the chaos. No celebration, no headlines. The sea kept its voice, and so did the men. When the claw broke the surface, what came up was not victory. It was memory, fragments of steel, pieces of a submarine, and 6 bodies of Soviet sailors, frozen in time, still in uniform. The crew stood in silence. Some removed their caps, others just stared at the gray waves. A chaplain read a prayer on the deck, his voice trembling against the wind. May God watch over them, and over us. The American flag hung half wet, half shadowed by cloud. For a moment, there were no sides, no war, no mission, only men looking at what the sea had taken. Inside the ship, a few gathered near the recovered fragments. Someone whispered, "We reached deeper than we should have." No one replied. The hum of machines had stopped. Only the slow rhythm of water against steel remained. An officer recorded the ceremony, a small camera shaking in his hand. Later, the tape would vanish into a classified archive, never to be shown, but for those who were there, it stayed forever. They lowered the bodies back into the ocean, wrapped in white cloth. Each one sank quietly into the dark, followed by flowers that floated for a moment, then disappeared. The camera lingers on the surface, empty now. The world above moved on, unaware below. The Pacific closed again, calm and endless. A faint piano note echoes as the scene fades. The mission was over, but its weight remained. The kind of silence that never truly ends. Years passed. The ocean forgot nothing. But on land, the world never knew what really happened out there. For decades, the mission remained buried under layers of silence. When journalists asked about it, the CIA gave the same reply. We can neither confirm nor deny. It was the perfect sentence for an imperfect truth. The men who served on the Glomar Explorer went home to quiet lives. Some went back to shipyards, some retired, some never spoke again. They carried memories they could not explain to anyone. One engineer wrote in his diary, "I still hear the sound of metal breaking, sometimes in my sleep." In 2010, the documents were declassified. What was once rumor became history. The world finally saw the scale of it, the money, the machinery, the deception. But the story was never about the steel. It was about the people who built it, and what it cost them to believe. An old supervisor, gray-haired and calm, appeared in an interview decades later. He said, "We thought we were serving our country, and maybe we were, but down there, under all that pressure, you start to wonder what duty really means." The footage cuts to the Pacific again, blue and endless, the same sea that watched it all. The voice continues, slower now. Every nation buries things it cannot face. Some secrets are born from fear, others from hope, but the ocean has room for both. A faint violin joins the piano. Black and white photos fade onto the screen, the crew smiling in hard hats, a flag raised at sunset, the steel claw shining like a monument to ambition. Then the pictures dissolve into waves. A single line appears on screen, a line once written in a CIA report. Project Azorian achieved partial success. The phrase feels almost poetic now, too small for what it really meant. The narrator's voice returns, soft but firm. They reached deeper than anyone before them. They touched the bottom of the world and brought a piece of it back. And somewhere in that darkness, they found themselves. The final image rises from the depths, a faint shape swallowed by blue. The music fades, replaced by the steady breath of the sea, then silence. Only one line remains in the dark colon. Some secrets rise, others sink forever.